Hi, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles of GMS, honors to brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay, so this is going to be a quick video. I'm going to start off in the book of Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, and the 5th verse. So it says here, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and the land of Magog, which is Russia, modern day Russia, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, saying, Thus saith the Lord, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech, and I will turn thee back, and put hooks within thy jaws. And I'll bring thee forth, and all thine army, horsemen and horsemen, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed in all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all of them with handling sword. Okay, and this is the important bit. Persia, I'm talking about Iran, okay, Libya, with them, all of them with shields and helmets, all right, Gomer and all his bands. So the important thing I wanted to bring out there is the fact that the Most High is going to set it up to where Russia is going to get dragged into this war. Okay, as a direct result, all of these other different nations like Persia, which is Iran, Ethiopia, etc., are going to be dragged into this war. But the Most High is going to set it up to where what? The Most High is going to set it up to where the Russians is going to strengthen all the great company that's in line with them. China also involved. So let's get into this article right quick and speak on it. So it says there, U.S. should impose new sanctions on Iran's Revolutionary Guard. And we go into this Revolutionary Guard. From what I can tell, it seems to be a derivative or a subsection of the government army. It could possibly be like a mercenary army. I didn't go into it too deep, but ultimately, it's an army that's fighting for all intents and purposes for the Iranian people. When you check it out, so it says here the United States should impose additional sanctions on Iran, specifically targeting the Revolutionary Guards Corps. Okay, so they mentioned the country there first. Okay, and then the Revolutionary Guard Corps, All right. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan said in a speech to the American and Israeli Public Affairs Committee, and it's important that the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee is mentioned again, because we know that Israel, as in the Israelis, the so-called Jews are in the land of Israel right now. Those are not the people of the Most High, and we know that they are maintain a consistent, or rather more a constant military presence within the Middle East. Okay, that's gonna allow the American government and NATO to maneuver in certain types of ways. For instance, the scripture does say the least of the nations shall draw them out, so they can set it up to where what? That them Israelis out there act very rush, okay, very brush, okay, and unpredictable against the Iranians to lead out and out to an all-out World War III. Okay, so it's important that's mentioned again, and it's important to note that when they go into the fact that they are calling the Iranian army, the Revolutionary Guard, a terrorist group, then we know that them Israelis, like they did to Assyria, they're thinking on bombing those people over there. Okay, so it says here, Washington on the 28th of March, okay, Ryan said, okay, the U.S. government should also target Iran's main airlines to halt them from allegedly transporting troops and weapons to other countries in the Middle East. Okay, and it says we should expand sanction on Iran's army of terror. Okay, and so they're calling it an army of terror. Okay, they're calling it an army of terror, and that's important because you got these countries talking about they're fighting. You know, this is all in the aid of counterterrorism, and this is all in the aid of stopping terror, etc., etc., etc. And we've seen this war on terror rip, different countries apart, like Syria, like Iraq, and ultimately, okay, was painted off at the first and foremost as terror. Okay, it transpires over by way of a period of time. There was actually no terrorist activity happening out there. All right, it was all set up by the American government, and actually they're the ones that are causing all the terror and the attacks out there. Okay, here it is. You have it to where one or two people, get caught up in in the wake of a false flag that the American government orchestrated, and as a direct result of that, you have it to where 1 million Iraqis get killed. Okay, thousands and thousands of Syrians are getting killed, all in the name of what? all in the name of stopping ISIS. But last time I checked, ISIS is only responsible for what? Maybe 100 people out there within the so-called Western world. Okay, and you're talking about justice and balance. That doesn't justify, going out there and tearing up the whole country as if to say Syria is coming over here, or the ISIS is coming over here and tearing up the whole goddamn country, man. But that's what the American government does. Okay, and to know it's the American government, you have to ask yourself who benefits when all of these terrorist attacks happen. It's not the terrorists that benefit. Okay, they're just a pawn for the American government. They're the ones that benefit, but because they can go out there and maneuver themselves, okay, in places where you got all kind of natural resources. Okay, Iraq, right, opium and oil. Okay, opium production went up 100-fold when the American government took occupation of the opium fields that you had out there in Iraq and Afghanistan. Okay, oil production in the countries went up multifold. Why? Because that's the resources that they set up these different terrorists to attack their own people, the American people, so that they can go up into those countries, so that now they can control these very same resources. Okay, you have to ask yourself, if the American government didn't go out there into them different countries and wage terror on these people, okay, if they didn't wage terror on these people, how would you have it to where the resources that you go out here is so cheap? Okay. The mere fact that the American government, NATO, okay, and different armies alike are inflicting terror on these different countries it weighs down to the fact that you people out there, you're spending your money, but you ain't spending a lot. You ain't living on the poverty line because your army terrorizes the other army. This is a natural balance of life. Okay, just like how when we're going to be empowered, the Israelites, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, when we take power, well, you're going to have it to where these different nations, they're going to be underneath us. It's pursuant to the book of Psalms, the 149th chapter, and I believe around about the 17th verse. It talks about how their nations are going to come down and bow down before the feet of the Israelites, right? Okay? So there is always going to be someone that's going to be in a state of being terrorized, and there's always going to be another person that's going to be an inflictor of terror. But in this case, in the case of Esau, okay, when he came into prominence, when he came into power, he had it to where what? He was hiding behind the scenes, okay? He was pulling the strings, saying, no, actually, the terrorist is over there. No, actually, it's not me that's the terrorist. Even though I've killed thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, it's actually these other people that are terrorists. And the mere fact of the matter is this, that the Mosai is going to reveal this man for the terror that he's inflicted on these people. And the Mosai is going to have it to where his sins is going to be seen in the clouds, in the smoke of his burning, which is going to come by way of what? By way of the same scripture that we read in the book of Ezekiel, the 38th chapter and the 5th verse, wherewith the Mosai is going to drag them different pieces, war pieces, all right, and he's going to add them, and he's going to wage war against America to the end that he's going to be burnt down to the ground, man. The scripture says within the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter, how that it's going to be inhabitable after that. After the Mosai has waned after the Mosai has done what he's going to do with that place. Okay? Okay, so we're back. I got scared there. I thought the battery was out. So let's carry on with this. So it says, Ryan, right, said the U.S. government should also target Iran's main airlines to halt them from allegedly transporting troops. Allegedly. That's important because all of these different things that they do out there in the world are off the back of allegations, man. Okay, it's all off the back of allegations. Oh, they might have done this, that, and the third. Okay, they might have weapons of mass destruction. Let's roll up into there and destruct the whole government. They might have terrorists go up there in Syria. Let's go out there and destroy the whole Syrian government. Now you got it to where they have an immigration problem. See, that goes to show you the insensitivity of these people. You got the immigration problem that you have out there as a direct result of your government going up there and toppling another people's government. So where the people gonna go? They obviously want to live somewhat. So where they gonna go? Okay, so it says, and should expand sanctions on Iran's army of terror. Okay, and that's important. Like I said earlier, that statement here, that army of terror, that's a buzzword. Okay, and that might become more and more prominent as we get into the high gear. All right, towards this World War III that's gonna come upon the world. Okay, so it says Iran's army of terror. It says Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. So Ryan said on Monday, I think we should designate them as a terrorist organization. Okay, like I said, I can't. When I really looked into the information, I didn't look at it, too deep. okay? But it seems like it's a genuine government army, but it could also be a mercenary group set up within the Iranian infrastructure, okay? But certainly it seems to be fighting, fighting for the Iranian people, and they want to designate that as a terrorist organization. But that sounds a lot like what you had out there within the Assad regime, man. Okay, so they've been trying to touch Assad for all of this time, and you're gonna have it to where they're gonna topple. They might topple his whole government over. But what's left after that? It's gonna be Iran. Okay, and it says we should take steps to prevent the Iranian airlines like Iran Air, the flagship air carrier of the Islamic Republic, from delivering troops and weapons across the Middle East. Now, see, this is interesting because when has Iran been involved in waging warfare against these different governments? But right, it's been the American government. Okay, so they're now basically trying to couple this thing of terrorists and terror with the Iranians, so they can have the excuse, okay, of rolling up into that, man. Okay, so it goes into saying how they criticize the Obama administration, right, for lifting up the international economic sanctions, right, on Iran, all right, etc., etc., of which I believe that they set that all up, all right, as a so they could say, look, we done gave you a chance, okay, we gave you the opportunity to deal correctly, okay. Now we're gonna have to come up with you with the guns because you didn't deal correctly. Okay, there's a thing the brother goes into it called plausible deniability, man. Okay, so pretty much with that, hopefully that was off edification, right? And Yahbashim outside Rattles, I'll see you on the next one. Okay, so I'm gonna say double honors to the apostles of GMS, honors you brothers that be pushing this truth with sincerity, and all praises unto Yahbashim outside. Shalom.